beautiful people. Welcome to an unofficial, official launch of this podcast. I'm actually going against plan. I'm going against all the planning I've been doing, the strategizing I've been doing. The first episode topic, which I was meant to do and release, is not the one that I'm doing now. But I wanted to just start. I think for those who know me and the many who don't know me, first of all, hi, my name is Tafadzwa, Project Tafadzwa on all the platforms. Well, not all of them, but Instagram, Twitter, although that one is contentious at the moment. But you can find me on Instagram for sure. And I really just wanted to just come here and just start. This podcast has been on my heart for a long time. Even at the beginning of this year, I went through like planning. I went through trying to record backtracks and like planning like the topics for the year, releasing. When am I going to record? Getting a batch ready, going into full on producer mode. And I wrote quite a bit, and it really helped me to actually just kind of see like, wow, this is how far I've come. This is my heart. This is the scars that I have been working through. But I think there's only so much planning you can do until you realize that actually this is scary. It's scary to just put yourself out there and be like, okay, God, am I ready? Do I have the right character? Will I expose too much? Like, what am I opening myself up to? And will people judge me? Will people look at my life and be like, but babes, is this really? And I think God is just really pushing me to just start. I've been in a season of, Q4 of the year. It's just a mess. We know it's the ghetto. It's chaotic, and everyone is tired. Everyone is hella tired. And the beginning of this year, I'm like, okay, God, you, me, vision. Okay, let's do this. Let's build. Let's go. And I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself. Yeah. Some may know this, but it hit me now that I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself. I try to do all things at once. And I just don't know. I think I just have this belief that I need to do all things at once. I need to accomplish things. I need to fulfill things. I need to, whatever God has put in my heart, I run steam ahead of Him. And then I think I kind of just crash and burn, but my crash and burn gets a bit wild. My crash and burn, I run away from Him. I just consume myself with just escapism in any way or the other. Not necessarily that the things are bad, but just the reason why I do them and how I just binge into them. So essentially, you can hear I'm an all or nothing person, but I think I do anything all the way as much as possible, but not too bad to be detrimental. So if you could just indulge me for a couple of minutes, I wanted to officially launch this podcast with the idea of just start. It's a bit weird because the topic of this, or the name of this podcast, is Seen, Heard, and Loved. And I'll further break that down later, with the different episodes and things that I'll be speaking about. But in an essence, seen, heard, and loved is something that God has said to me that I've always needed to hear all my life, that I'm still fighting to believe and to wear. But I also realize that it's a gift. There's something inbuilt in me, that when I interact with people, when I speak to people, when I share, whatever it is that I can share, that they too feel seen, heard, and loved. So it really is a platform for you, as it says in the title, that for you to feel seen, to feel heard, and to feel loved. Not by me necessarily, definitely I'll try my best, with sharing my story. Hopefully you do feel seen, you feel heard, and you feel loved. But most importantly, I want whoever is listening, no matter where you are in your life, no matter what beliefs you have, no matter what trauma and scars you have, no matter, whatever is on you or with you in your mind, in your heart, that really God sees, hears, and loves you. And I think that's just, if I can just fulfill that, even just for one person, and they can feel free in their life to believe that God sees me, He hears me, and He loves me, then I think after, even though I plan and, and try to rush and do everything, I pray if someone feels that and believes that, then that's it. Then I've done what I needed to do. I fulfilled the mission as far as I know. So yes, welcome to Seen, Heard, and Loved. And the idea is just starting. If the sound quality is not that great, please bear with me, because the perfectionist in me, the control freak in me, would love this to be on a high production level. But just starting means exactly that. Like, you start with what you have. You start with the children in the background. You start with the wind blowing wherever. You start with the sound just being not 100%, the mic picking up everything. You try not to move too much so that you don't create unnecessary noise. But there are some podcasts that I listen to that are quite raw and authentic. You have some people speaking whilst they're walking outside. You have some people who are speaking whilst sitting in a car, and there's all of that noise coming from outside, no matter how they're recording. And those for me have always stood out, because it's like, wow, this person's just being real. And it's like you're having a conversation with a friend wherever you are, right? So whether you're taking a walk, which sometimes I listen to podcasts that way. I don't necessarily just sit and listen. I'm not that kind of consumer. But when I'm taking a walk and I'm just like, oh, okay, I just need to get my things together, or I just need to breathe, I need to exhale. Then I listen to a podcast where I'm like, I just need something to go into my system that's going to be good. And I just want to liberate myself to just do that for someone else. That doesn't have to be so perfect. And I think that's what starting is all about. I struggle. I struggle with starting stuff. I'm great at coming up with ideas, and it's like, okay, God, like the vision, I want to do this. I have so many post-its and papers on my wall. Like, I even had a 2022 reading list. Have I conquered that reading list? No. But it looks good, right? It looks good. I had a whole calendar of things. I have to-do lists for days. Um, but I'm like, what stops me from starting? And I realized that, yeah, hopefully someone relates to this, but I struggle with starting because it's exactly the pressure of being perfect. I want to do all things my way. I want to do all things my way. I want to craft it. And I think it stems from a fear of how will people receive this? How will, I think I struggle with criticism as well. Like I do. Because putting this out there, I don't even know what's recording this. I'm even thinking like, whoo, this still has to be packaged. Oh goodness. So it's just one of those where I just struggle with that pressure of doing it all perfectly, but also with the fear of what will people say? How will people react to this? Will many people view it? I know it sounds bad. No, I mean, it doesn't necessarily sound bad, but it's like, will the people that need to listen to it and actually receive it? And I may be speaking and have my little things like the ums and all of that stuff. And, public speakers will say that, you need to articulate, you need to do all of these things with how you speak. And I'm like, you know what? It's overwhelming. It's so overwhelming just trying to figure out how to package something for people who are just going through life. Going through life, going through whatever it is that you're going through. We may package things so well, for the virtual world, but in reality, when we lay our heads down at night, when we close our laptops and Teams just to step away and just say, okay, cool, I've done this day. For those of us in advertising, to be like, okay, I've done my timesheets. Ooh, child, I know, trigger word. But just being able to just step away and just realize that I'm not okay, you know? I'm not okay. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. You realize that the lashing out that she did in the meeting with your peers, and it's like, was that me? Am I the drama? Like, why am I like this? Why am I feeling like this? And you end up wondering, is this even my priority? Is this how I should be feeling right now? Is this what I should be fighting for right now? And that's how I've been feeling like lately. Can I just be real? I've just been feeling like I've been fighting battles that are not even my own battles. I'm carrying burdens that I shouldn't even be carrying. I'm worrying about things that I don't need to be worrying about. But I have that nature. I have that nature of worrying and caring and paying attention to the people around me. I worry about my family, as much as God has actually given me and shown me like this is what he's doing. I still like, okay, so but then this, like I end up like just carrying these burdens. And a great person that I work with, he said to me, he was like, Tavi, you end up carrying things for people that you shouldn't be caring for. I'm actually paraphrasing, but he literally revealed to me like you end up taking on things for others when you don't necessarily need to. And I know my husband tells me these things often, and I realize that I think it's the firstborn in me. Shout out to the firstborns. Listen, we need to create a support group for firstborns and especially firstborn girls. The daughters out there, I'm with you. That's going to be a whole other topic, okay? Don't worry. So, I think being a firstborn, you kind of have this thing of like, I have to carry everybody and not just my siblings, even my parents. Right now, I feel like I'm carrying them. They don't even know it. And they think that, okay, cool, like, okay, she's just there. And yes, she's, living her life. And whenever they speak to me, I say I'm tired, but they don't realize why I'm tired, So, anyways, I digress a little bit. But I think this idea of carrying everything is so burdensome. It's so, so burdensome. But God has been showing me that, hey, actually had a moment where my mom was giving me an update about my family and this like stuff that has been happening with my family that, I've carried it for years and I didn't realize I was actually carrying it for years. So you can imagine what that does to my body and my mind and my spirit. But in that moment when she gave me the good news, I broke down and cried. I was in the kitchen, child. I was like, I don't know. I think I was trying to make a cup of tea. And I just broke down and I did. In that moment, I realized I'm like, I haven't been able to feel free with this for years. Like it literally has been sitting with me and I've been worried about it for years, as in longer than COVID. So you can imagine for me, I just broke down. I'm like, God, thank you, because I thought I was going to have to come in and fix this. I was trying to figure out, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to solve this? How are we going to do this? And then God showed me and God told me in that moment that he's the one who does the saving, not me. He uses me where he needs to use me, but he's the one who does the saving. He's the one who does the solving. He's the one who does the fixing. He's the one who does the redeeming. And he just uses me. So going back to this topic of starting, I think me wanting to package stuff and all of this pressure, technically, he's the one who works it out. He's the one who's like, you know what, just start. Because he just kept on pushing me now. I was watching a sermon by Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, shout out. And I'm going to prophesy, like, I'm just going to put it out there that one day I will have a face-to-face conversation with this woman because I love her so much. I'm just putting it now. Because, this is what happens. I want to put my faith step in there. Like, this is my faith talk. Come on. I want to have a conversation with her, whether it's on a Woman Evolve or Seen, Heard, and Loved. It's going to happen. I'm trusting God. My big audacious dream. I'd love to have a conversation with her. Whoever hears this and knows her personally, please, thanks. Okay, so anyways, I literally was just kind of like, yes, God was talking to me. I'm just like, okay, he's the one who does it. So even when I start, but technically, God is the one who started. God is the one who's faithful to finish the good things he started. God is the one who's going to do the heavy lifting. I do not have to be Deputy Jesus. I do not have to come in and fix everything. Where he needs me, he will use me, and he will tell me, and he will put me into position. I don't know how many times where I'm just like, oh, what am I doing? And then an opportunity or someone comes to me to say, hey, Taffy, I've been thinking about you and this is what I wanted to tell you. Can you please do this? And I'll be like, oh, I can do this. And like, there's this like force within me, like, I have to do this. I need to pray with you. I want to pray with you. There's this desire for the thing that God has put in front of me. Like, okay, cool. This is what I'm really going to do. When I'm speaking to someone and they're telling me about their life, apparently I just have this thing where people just feel comfortable to tell me about their problems and their life and their deepest scars. But even in that moment, I'm like, you know what, God, just use me. How can I love this person? And there's that force that comes through that's like, which is the Holy Spirit. Like this comes through. It's like, okay, cool. Whatever's in front of me, you're going to use me. So starting is just really for me being put into position. I put myself into the position for God to use me. I put myself into position to say, I'm starting this. I'm getting aligned with you. I'm getting into this moment. Whatever it is that you got to say, whatever it is that you got to do, use me. Use my life, use my mess, use my craziness, use my burdens, my scars. Use all of me, even if I'm scared of using me. I'm scared of using me. I'm scared of everything, but fear is not from the Lord. And I know that just starting, he can do wonderful things with just the seed of a start. Just the seed of a start. So I want to take this moment to just say, I pray with this start, with these words and me putting myself out here right now, no matter how many times the enemy tells me that there's so many podcasts, or you're not Sarah, or other people are starting podcasts about other things, or you don't have the equipment, or load shedding has started, are you still gonna record? I'm gonna put myself out there and just be like, you know what, God, I'm starting, and just take my life as it is. I'm just going to be present, and I know that you're going to settle everything. You will fight for me. You will, you fight for me. Exodus 14 verse 14. I'm busy looking at my wall. Looking for it. Bear with me. I love this scripture because it reminds me, well, it shows me God's nature. The Lord will fight for you and you shall hold your peace. And I think when you're carrying burdens and worries and fear, years and years and years of anxiety and stress and worrying about everyone, you don't have peace. And I realized for me, like, I don't have peace. I don't have peace because my mind is running, but right now I'm being reminded that the Lord will fight for you. So I'm just putting myself into position. I'm just starting. It may not be according to my plan, but it's definitely according to his will, and that's way better. So welcome to the Seen, Heard, and Loved podcast. In this place, I pray that whoever is listening, that these words reach your soul, your spirit, and hugs you, and that you can have a pausing moment to feel that you're not alone, because going through this life, it's even better to face the things that God is taking you through together with someone else. And I pray that in this moment, that this platform is everything God envisions. I pray it's everything God has designed and intended it for it to be. That even when I am weak, He shows me that He is strong. And even when I'm trying to figure it out and trying to make it perfect, He shows that He's the perfect God who perfects all things in His time. So share this with your friend. But please do walk this journey with me of being seen, heard, and loved by God. And I hope it also motivates you that even in a time when you're so tired, even in a time when you're so worn down, but there's still something inside of you that says start. Let this be that inspiration to say, hey, here's your seed to start. Just start, and He will do the rest. Welcome, and I will see you soon. Bye.